All right, good evening, Keon Brown. I know my hair looks crazy. It don't come from me. Thank you guys for being here tonight. It is, what's today? The 17th of February. Let's put that up. February 17th, 2021. Wow, we are in the new year majorly. NCCU is like incredibly in the news over the last couple of weeks. I mean, come on, let's put some things. But we have a champion, Super Bowl champion. Let's see, I don't have everything up here. We have a couple of news stories that we're going to bring in. I hope I have them. I thought I had a graphic here. Maybe I don't. But really, really excited about NCCU. We're celebrating the 110 years of truth and service. Make sure that you remember to join the Alumni Association, nccualumni.org, and make a recurring gift to the university via eaglesgive.com. I want to bring in my colleague and classmate from the latest year, 2004. I know one of our guests won't agree with that, but, you know, I'm the host. So 2004, okay? Let's bring in Kenza McFadden, my colleague, and she makes all this stuff happen. What's up, Kenza?
Hey, Keon, how's it going?
I'm good. I don't have my earpiece in today. Today is something real interesting today. We're just having a day today. I was sick. This is all kind of stuff, but we're here. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Yes, class of 2004 is definitely, what is it? You called it the golden era?
Yeah, I'll give
That's
you that.
What it is. Yeah.
I can see Timothy Peterkin. When he comes on, you know, he was SGA president our freshman year.
Yes.
So we'll see what he thinks about his, you know, the golden year being at the end of his season, you know, whatever. What's going on in Philly? What's up with you?
It's cold, you know, it's definitely winter, February, all that good stuff. But yeah, all is well. Should not complain. I don't know if you got a chance to share that. I know you were doing some news for NCCU that Intel is committed to giving $5 million over a certain period of time to for I believe it's for technology.
Yeah,
but just absolutely awesome. You know, we're soaring, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's like we kind of participated in the legacy a little bit, and to see it like all blossom and come into fruition in a different way is a beautiful thing. So
yes. Well, let's bring Timothy in because I want to cover some of these a couple things that are really prevalent to him. What's up, Timothy Peterkin?
Good evening.
So good to see you. We were just saying how you are SGA president our freshman year. Excited to see you. We want to talk to you in a moment about all the stuff that you're doing. You're in South Dakota, so we want to talk about that. I'm in New York. She's in Philly. It's cold here and there, so I wonder how it is over there. What's the weather like in South Dakota, Timothy Peterkin?
Well, we've had some days where it's been negative 20-something, but, you know, we just keep pressing on. So
you and your new dog, right?
Yep.
Well, look, let's take a glance at some of these topics that Kenza had just mentioned. Here's a couple of Eagles in the news. Let's start with Mikey Williams. Mikey Williams has been a reoccurring kind of conversation topic for NCCU. He is currently in high school. He is one of the top prospects for the NBA in a couple years. He's still fairly young, but he has. We're anticipating him committing to NCCU. That's what kind of been the dialogue, and has a recent article even as of yesterday. So I'm excited to see our basketball program elevate. Yes. But I always go back to, and Mikey's from North Carolina. He actually left a school to come to a school in North Carolina, which got the buzz up that he might be coming to North Carolina Central. So, but as we close down the baseball program, most recently, they just announced that we've got to give. Alumni got to give. All right?
Absolutely.
Right. It's going to be great if Mikey comes. It's going to be great if we continue to get, you know, ESPN to do documentaries on us and talk about us and all of that. But if the alumni are not giving, they're going to start getting money from other places, which then makes the priority and the conversation away from NCCU alumni and all the things that we hold dear. So I want to get your thoughts on that, Kenza, and then we'll go with Timothy. Kenza.
So I think you're absolutely right. You know, we want our athletes to consider HBCUs, and after you consider it, make it a commitment to come to the school, because it does bring finances to the school. It brings acknowledgement and showcase and all of those things that we want for NCCU to continue to thrive. So absolutely, I hope that he commits and comes, and we have more athletes like him, and not just basketball, in all sports, in tennis, and golf for the women's basketball program. It's very essential for athletics to thrive, because when you look at the enterprise of NCCU or any university, athletics are at the core of the finances. So yeah, that's critical.
Yeah, I saw a message today on Facebook that we should give to athletics, and you can give to athletics, but I would also venture to say give to the university as well. We still need many. We want the top tier students to come to the university, and of course we want the athletes, but they got to go to class too. So it's important for us to have top notch professors, top notch resources for the academic piece of those student athletes' journey. So it's important for you to do both. Give some money to them, and then give some money to the university as well. President Peterkin, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely, I agree 100%. One of the issues is that we get to give however we like, right?
Yeah.
And so I give to programs that I was a part of, or to organizations that I care about all through the university. And then you go back and I give to general scholarship. And so it certainly is an opportunity to express what's important to you, because I think everyone's had a unique experience at our school, and you actually can express that through your giving.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. It's such a powerful distinction that you get to give however you want to. And if you visit eaglesgive.com, it will take you to a screen where you can actually scroll down, and there are so many options that are there, whether it's a fraternity or sorority that you're a part of, or it's an athletic program, or it's an academic department, or whatever. Just scroll down. There's so many, and you can select. And if it's not there, give to the annual fund, which gives the university critical funds, unrestricted funds to do whatever they need to do with it, like COVID or like whatever. When things pop up, there's not necessarily dollars allocated to disaster relief, so they have to tap into the annual fund for those moments. So I'm going on a rant, but I think it's important as we're about to really step into a higher level of visibility as an institution. And we must give to the university so that those individuals that come, based on the visibility they see, that they're having an experience that would have them continue to give after graduation. Let's go to the next thing. Okay, Julius L. Chambers. Now, Julius L. Chambers was we all had Dr. Julius Chambers as chancellor. He was the chancellor our first year, me and Kenza, and then Timothy, he was yours for a little bit longer. Tell me your experience of Chancellor Chambers. I know he's like a mentor of yours. Tell me about that relationship, Timothy.
Well, we went to the same area like in high school, and so that's where we started a connection when I met him on the campus. So he was an amazing person in general. Like, he was so smart. He had this wit that it's sort of like what I try to have, but he perfected it, where he'll say something and then 10 minutes later you realize, oh wait, you know what he's really saying. But I was able to work at this law firm when I was in law school. I mean, he was just like, you couldn't find another attorney who has his caliber. In fact, as an example of that, to prove this is not just hyperbole, he had a perfect record before the United States Supreme Court. Every case he argued before the U.S. Supreme Court, he won. And so that's an example. When I say he's one of the best, very few attorneys can bolster a perfect record before the U.S. Supreme Court.
Incredible. Chancellor Chambers. And I love his wife, Vivian. May they both rest in peace, man. I miss them both. Well, so he's in the news because Representative Dr. Alma Adams put some legislation that went into law for the Julius L. Chambers Civil Rights Memorial Post Office in Charlotte, North Carolina. And they're going to do a Zoom call on February 18th for its groundbreaking or its ribbon cutting or something that's going on with that. But she is Dr. Adams, who is also an NCCU alumni. That was so great for her. It's located at 2505. I think this is Durntle Avenue in Charlotte, North Carolina. So excited about that. He got a high school, and now he got a post office. Come on, NCCU. So go get your stamps from that particular one. Go all across the QC and go to that one, okay? And take pictures and post it when you get to the Chancellor Julius L. Chambers Civil Rights Memorial Post Office in Charlotte. Congratulations to that, brother. All right. And as Kenza said earlier, Intel will donate $5 million over the next 5 years to create a new tech law and policy center at the North Carolina Central University School of Law. So we'll go with Esquire, Mr. Timothy Peterkin, Esquire, 2004 graduate of the NCCU School of Law. What are your thoughts on tech law and policy center at NCCU, Intel?
Well, yeah, and shout out to our newest dean, Dean Brownie Lewis. She actually brings a tech law background, and so that was instrumental in bringing these funds to our campus. And so we've been actually a leader in technology for a long time. And so I'm glad that we're getting that acknowledgement. But our School of Law has been ranked very high for our usage of technology. This is before COVID and before Zoom was a thing. We were teaching classes throughout the state of North Carolina and even providing legal services through the state through our technology.
Incredible. And as you said, that's very revolutionary because I know a lot of people in the field and law school. I don't know what y'all do there, but a lot of it has to be one-on-one. Some of it has to be that way. But North Carolina Central University really jumped in there and made it innovative, use innovation to do it differently. Can you talk about that really quickly?
Yeah, when I was there, I ran a foreclosure prevention project, and I would actually be able to meet with clients who were facing foreclosure through our technology. They would be able to put their documents up with the camera and everything and have this one-on-one meeting, but they would be on the other side of the state. And so we were the first law school that was able to do that. And so we no longer were limited to serve Durham. We actually began to serve the entire state through that technology, and we've continued to do so.
Indeed. Well, let's go ahead and jump in with Timothy so we can just introduce him real good. And it's Ken's is my partner and co-laborer in this venture, so she'll be on the whole time with us. But Timothy Peterkin, former student body president, he graduated in 01 undergrad, also the School of Law in 2004. He's at the University of South Dakota as an academic success coach. And tell me a little bit more about your CEO-dom and all the projects that you're doing out there in South Dakota. Thank you for being here, Brother Peterkin.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I've been working in an entrepreneurial role for a number of years now. So I have an education company. After the lawyers graduate from law school, they have to learn new laws and learn practical skills because law school can be fairly theoretical. And so we've been training lawyers in North Carolina for 11 years now, actually. And so it's law to the people. We've been providing that service to attorneys. We've trained about almost 3,000 attorneys in the last few years. So we're really proud of that. It's just a way that we can serve and give back. And I think it's my way of having a greater level of impact because at this point in my career, I don't get to go to court like I used to go. But instead, I get to train attorneys on the skills that I had to go to court. And so I teach a class with 50 people in it, and then they go off and they get to do these great things. And I feel like I'm a part of that. And so it's really become my passion.
I mean, I ain't gonna call you old, but once people start to get out of the courtroom or get out of the classroom and then go into the the higher levels and echelons of instruction, that sounds like experience and seasoning. Congratulations, brother. It's good to see you full expression and doing what you are very, very good at. Congratulations.
Well, I will pull the compliment out of that slight insult there and say thank you.
I have to say, so our freshman year, me and Kenza, I was a freshman class president, and Timothy was the president of SGA, and I don't know. We had so many memories. I mean, we were all fresh, and I was just so grateful to kind of be under his tutelage. Very, very smart, and really knows what to do as it relates to leadership and being with people. And I learned a lot from you, Timothy. So I'm really, really grateful to have been in a relationship with you and to do life with you and continue on to just kind of check in throughout the years. How did NCCU find you?
Well, when I was in high school, I come from a family of Aggies, first of all, right? And so I had been to Auntie's campus many, many times, and that was a lot of, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to go there because, I might been a little rebellious, but my version of rebellion would be I'm not going to A&T, right? Because my dad, my uncle, my brother was there at the time. I think we have about 20 Aggies in my family right now. So anyway, so that was kind of out for me. And so then I actually had no interest in going to, or had never really thought about HBCUs. I ended up going to a high school where my dad was the first Black principal, and I ended up being the only Black here and the only Black person there. And it really made me realize that having a connection with people with life experiences meant something to me. So when I looked at my applications to college, North Carolina Central was actually the only HBCU that I had applied to. And so that was ultimately how I decided to attend.
That's excellent. I want to ask you about being student body president. I think it's always interesting about leadership and how that shapes one's experience in college and then experience post college. Can you speak to what being SJ president or being involved in student leadership did for you in your matriculation and beyond?
Sure. Well, for starters, there are very few people, even in a professional setting, who get a decent budget and a decent sized staff. But we were able to have that at 20 years old, right? And so you have people who are much older than that in the professional setting now who don't supervise 15 people. And so having that under your belt is actually a really nice experience to have as a 19, 20, or 21 year old to be able to do that. Had a wonderful team that we worked with. We made mistakes, but you're passionate and you think that you're doing the right thing and you just work really hard to achieve that goal. And so those are the sort of principles that I took away, even when ultimately you look back on it, you would do things differently. For example, my administration, we actually canceled the homecoming concert. Now, it sounded like that was a crazy. It sounded like that was a crazy thing to do, but I had a plan. You got to be passionate. You got to really, see where you're going with this. We didn't have adequate funding to bring in A-list talent, and my position was we could force the administration to give us more money if we simply refused to have the show. And so my thought was if we kept refusing to have the show, the university would get so upset, they would finally come to the table and give us the money because it would bankrupt our budget every year is what would happen. We would spend all of our money on the show, nobody would show up, and we would have no budget for the rest of the year. So I thought I was doing something clever and creative. You can imagine how that was perceived by the students, but take the lesson away, which is you believe in something and you do it, right? And so that's what I did. I thought that was the right thing to do, and I did it. So, and I think that I use that same philosophy today. Today, I tell my staff all the time, I'm very comfortable being in charge. I ask people what they think. I'm seeking their opinions, but at the end of the day, I'm very comfortable making decisions. And I don't think everyone understands how to do that because that's a balance. Asking people what they think and then hearing that they think something different than you think, but you're taking all that information in and then making your own decision. So that started back when I decided, and you can imagine the rest of my staff at that time didn't really want to cancel the homecoming concert, but I listened to what they had to say, and I didn't think that we should do it.
So what happened? I forgot. So did they come back to the table and say, we're going to pay for it all? What happened?
No, it didn't work out the way I planned. but I don't mean you got to try. So if it had worked, I'd be a hero. So you got to swing for the fences sometimes, right? But
you still made history.
Yes, you did.
In that sort of way, right? The guy who didn't have a homecoming concert. But it's okay. I don't regret that. I mean, I knew it. I don't think I did. I think in retrospect, I could have done a better job of messaging that because I don't think the student body knew why we weren't having the show that year. However, if they thought about it, every previous year, they complained because we were having B-list talent. And I didn't want to have B-list talent. I wanted to have A-list talent, but we didn't have the money for it. And so I guess that's another lesson, I suppose, messaging and learning how to actually convey what you're doing. But no, in the end, they actually outmaneuvered me because they argued that if we didn't have the show the next year, they take all the money away in general. So learning how to maneuver the system is important.
Wow. Kenza, do you remember that?
Vaguely.
I hope not.
I don't remember that. Anyway.
20 years ago, people, 20 years ago.
It's a long time.
Kenza, I remember we went to that year, our freshman year, we went on a big leadership retreat with Dean Alexander and Dr. Henrietta Harris. Yeah. What do you remember about that leadership? That was the first time that some of us had been together, that we met together, and we're still friends with everybody that was there almost. What were your thoughts of that?
I think that was a great opportunity for us to tap into our leadership, especially being freshmen. I think that was a great opportunity that Dean Alexander provided for us. And I know that you still, and myself too, some of the principles that we gleaned from that experience, we use in present day our profession. So yeah, I hope that those type of opportunities are still being offered for students, but things like that, they just set the trajectory for your public speaking, really too. So yeah, that leadership experience was great. Plus some of the stories that we can't share.
Indeed, indeed. And I love talking about this with you guys because it always wraps around to enrollment. Mikey Williams, all the people that we're trying to get here, whether it's a Rhodes Scholar or someone that's got 4.0 coming out of high school, we need all of that. But we also have to have leadership development opportunities where we go and take you to the mountains and you do some experiential exercises that bond you together, and it works. And so I don't know if they still have that, because my mentees now that I hear from and talk to, I don't know if they're getting it the same way as we got it. I don't think they have the same passion and fire about North Carolina Central University if we're not winning championships. I don't know if they're excited like we were. We bleed maroon. And so that's why I call it the golden era, because there's something special about that time, that exit of Chancellor Chambers into Dr. Ammons. And there's something that had us like on fire just because.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
that's what we're trying to do. Eagles give just because. We don't give because, yeah, I had a problem in that financial aid line. Yeah, I had we had black mold in the dorm. Yeah, we had all this stuff, but I'm still going to give. I'm still going to contribute. I'm still going to use my time and resources to elevate the university. What are your thoughts, Timothy Peterkin?
Yeah, well, I can't say anything about your golden era, although we did graduate together. So I suppose I'm in that class too, but
yes,
we weren't really a part of that golden era because we were in law school, I guess.
You were a part of you initiated the goldenness, just like your. Just go ahead, you can sip your drink, Ken. I'm gonna sip mine too. You were a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for ushering in, bringing us in. I'm sipping tea just with Kenza. Thank you for being there and giving us what you gave us. And remember Stevie Dunk and Tex and all these guys that were just very monumental in my trajectory. Meeting Stephanie Jackson and all this is a major moment. All you guys are so powerful and so successful in this moment. It's very, very powerful. Really, really excited about it. Kenza, what are your thoughts on these guys as they exited and how they transformed our lives? Sharika, all those guys.
They kind of set the foundation, right? Like they definitely they made it fun. Don't forget about Leroy Ray. He was part of that era too. So yeah, I think Tim, you guys definitely set a foundation, and you kind of set a standard too. Of course, I didn't know you canceled the homecomings, but you guys were very professional, very just astute in all that you were doing. It was definitely something to look forward to as we, stepped into our different activities on the campus as well.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Tim.
So what kind of advice would you give your former self if you could do that?
Oh, that's an excellent question, Tim. You know what? I would give myself, do it all, like participate in everything. Because I think that once you have that well-rounded experience, I mean, I'm always talking about NCCU all the time. So do a little bit of everything. And if you join in and it doesn't work out, or you go to this event and you don't like it, there's opportunities to pivot and do something else. So what about you? Let me bounce that question back to you. What would you tell your younger self? And then Keon, we'll get you in.
Well, I have an answer. I feel like you're going to judge me, but I'll go ahead and tell you the answer anyway. So when I was an undergrad, I did not attend any parties. So I would probably do that.
You would make sure you go to parties?
Yeah, I didn't balance. I was all about my GPA. And in retrospect, whether I graduated with a 3.9 or a 3.8 wouldn't have really made all the difference in the world. You know what I mean? Like, it was okay. And so when my niece came to campus 20 years later, I remember encouraging her, because she was, of course, a top student as well. But I remember encouraging her to make sure that she would go to a party, that she would do things that would be fun and be part of the college experience. And so I went too much in a direction that, in retrospect, I would have created more balance.
Yeah. I'll piggyback on that. I hate that piggyback. I will, I love what you said about that. Balance is really important. I had to go to all the parties because they let me in, VIP, and I didn't have to sit on the line. So, and it was, Malik and Dame, and it was just our people. So I was like, and going to the parties and having balance outside of the classroom is how we got to meet one another. And especially being a student leadership, the way that we get to like be with our constituents was to go to a party or go to a cultural event that I might not be a member of, whether it be a cultural club or whatever. So I love that because now in hindsight, 25 years later, I got friends in every part of the world. We got Eagles in Ghana and Trinidad and LA and everywhere. And so anywhere that I go, there's an Eagle. Why? Not just because I went to Central, but because I had a connection with them during my matriculation there. And it was not academic. It was Eagle to Eagle, maroon and gray. So I think one other thing that I would say is be unapologetically you. And, when you're unapologetically you, which you don't even know what that is from 17 to 21, let's be clear. I didn't. I was going on fumes. I came from where I was the big fish in the pond to the very small fish in the pond, and had to really grow and move up. And Timothy was a part of that process for me. But it was it was a lot of hurtful things. A lot of. I come from an all-white environment in Wilmington, North Carolina. So to come to North Carolina Central University, it actually was something very special for me. It was a rite of passage for me. My father is an alum, so it was very much a legacy for me. So do everything. Be yourself. Take risk. And when people judge you, what I learned 25 years later is those who judged you and had ill words for you 25 years ago, they were only operating in where they were at that time. And so was I. I was operating from where I was at that time. So I got student body president at 21, but I was still a 21-year-old student leader. Still didn't know things, still hadn't experienced things, and I was leading 8,000 people. So yeah, it was great, but then I made a lot of mistakes. So I hope that answered the question. That was a really, really great question, Timothy and Kenza. So we're moving on for our last 2 or so minutes. We want to go into our final thoughts. And thank you guys for jumping in today. I'm so grateful for y'all, Kenza being ready, and Timothy Peterkin for being available tonight. Thank you. Ladies first, we'll start with you, Kenza, your final thoughts. Then we'll go to Timothy Peterkin. Kenza?
Yes, thank you so much. So my final thoughts are keep surrounding yourself with people who celebrate you and everything that you do. Make sure that you have a network, a family, a community that celebrates you and your accomplishments and your success. And please join the Alumni Association for anybody who's watching. Please consider giving. And let's just keep flying high together.
Come on, better together. Timothy Peterkin, thank you for being here. What are your final thoughts?
Sure. My final thought is I wanted to encourage everyone to read The Total Money Makeover. When I was in college, I got my first credit card and didn't really know what it was. It would have been nice had someone told me to read that book, so I passed that along to you.
What was the book again, Tim?
It's called The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey.
Okay. Oh, yes. The Total Money Makeover. We should do that. We should get a list of required reading for our students and for ourselves. We should do that. Thank you for that.
Awesome.
Oh, we have a couple chat in the chat. Eagle Pride. Let's all plant seeds for our university. Let's see. Legends on the virtual. I see that. All right. ED, my bro. Okay. Thank y'all for watching. I'm Keith Brown in New York. Make sure you find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere. Also, go to nccalumni.org, eaglesgive.com. Remember that an eagle is no common, ordinary barnyard fowl. We love you for watching. Stay focused. It's a great time to be an eagle, guys. Thank you.
Indeed.
All right, guys.